Hi, I'm Ali and welcome to your Vinyasa flow. I'm going to start by bringing yourself into a comfortable seat. If you've got a block, you might need to place that underneath the hips just so you can get nice length through the spine. So just checking that we're not rounding into the lower back, gently activating through the core and lengthening through the spine. I want you to take a few moments just to take all those wiggles and fidgets out of your body and find stillness in your seated position. So if you feel like you need to take your legs long, feel free to do that. If you'd like to come onto your back because you just can't get comfortable sitting up today, feel free to do that as well. And then when you're ready, find your stillness, close down the eyes. We're just going to do a little bit of breathing here, just so we can completely connect with our bodies and our breath before we start our practice. So just start by breathing naturally. There's no need to alter your breath. And there's no right or wrong way of breathing here. It's just how your body breathes. And so just take a moment to do a little body scan, taking your mind's eye, your awareness, all the way from the top of your head and gently working down through the body, finding all those little tight spots and actively softening them into your mat. And don't forget to check in with the brow and the jaw. Slide the shoulder blades down the back, working all the way down through your hips and your legs until you're completely soft. And then taking your awareness back to your breath, we're going to start to lengthen our inhales over the count of 4. So just counting in your mind for 4, 3, 2, 1, and take a little pause at the end of that in-breath. And then slowly exhaling over the count of 6 if that's there for you today. And pausing at the bottom of that exhale and then gently inhaling. Over 4 to pause. And then exhale. Over 6. I'll take 3 more of these mindful breaths. Completely connecting the mind, the body. Inhaling. And exhaling. We'll take 1 more breath in. Breath out. And then when you're ready, just gently cracking open your eyes. Bring yourself back onto your mat. We're going to take our block out from underneath us if you're sitting on it and make our way into a tabletop position. So taking the palms of the hands to the mat and taking the knees to the mat and just checking with your alignment here, making sure that the shoulders are directly over the wrists and the hips are directly over the knees. Now you may choose to untuck or tuck your toes. It's whatever really feels good in your body, but if you know that you have sore knees or if you have knee issues, just tuck those toes to create that bunda to protect the knee. And then as you breathe in, we're going to start by gently lifting through the sit bones, lifting through the collarbone, the heart, and gently raising the eye gaze, coming into cow. As you breathe out, rounding through the spine, pushing the mat away, coming into that beautiful cat stretch, arching through the back. And breathing in, lifting through the heart again. Breathing out, rounding through the spine. We're going to take 3 more of these. And as you do them, I want you to lead from your tailbone. So really articulating through the spine here on your breath in. And then articulating on the breath out. Slow it right down so you can feel every vertebrae as you breathe in and out. We'll take one more round. Inhaling. Exhaling, making this the best cat yet. Really stretching like a cat in the sun. And then finding your neutral tabletop. From here, I'm going to tuck the toes if they're not tucked already, lift the hips and make your way into downward facing dog. And so finding your dog here. This might be your first dog of the day. So really take the time to pedal out through the knees. You might want to draw the heels from one side of the mat to the other, coming in just to a gentle twist, lengthening through the hips. And just keep taking any movement, maybe drawing the chest forward into high plank, and then rolling back into your downward facing dog. And when you're feeling ready in your body, let's find some stillness in your dog here and let's set up the foundations of your dog to make sure that we're nice and safe. So making sure the fingers are spread wide and the thumbs are drawing together. And this is turning on the shoulder girdle and protecting us through the shoulders and the upper back. Check that the core is activated so we're not hanging out in the belly. And then bending a little bit into the knees, we're going to tilt the sit bone all the way up to the sky, sitting in that beautiful long spine all the way from the base of the skull right down to the pelvis. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. And 1 more inhale. Open the mouth to side away. On your next breath in, coming up onto the tiptoes, lift through the heels. As you breathe out, bend deeply into the knees. And take a step all the way to the front of the mat and come into ragdoll. So finding your ragdoll here by bending through the knees, laying the belly over the thighs. The arms can come down into the mat like floppy noodles, or if you like, you can hook one hand into the elbow. But making sure that the head is nice and relaxed, the neck's relaxed, the weight of the skull is really drawing the spine over the thighs like a waterfall. We'll take 2 more breaths in here, just really enjoying the lengthening through the lower spine and the hips, maybe a little bit of length through the hamstrings. We'll take 1 more inhale. Releasing the hands as you exhale. And really ground into the feet, bend deeply into the knees, and gently start to roll your way up, all the way up to Tadasana. The shoulders and the head coming up last. Let's take a breath here to set up your Tadasana. So really grounding into the feet. Engaging through the legs, the core, drawing the shoulder blades together nice and long through the neck. Maybe getting a little smile at the corner of the mouth there, and on your next breath in, sweep the arms to the sky. Folding forward as you exhale. We're going to come into a halfway lift. So drawing the spine nice and long, and the hands can come to the thighs, the shins, or the floor if it's there for you this morning. We're drawing the shoulder blades together, drawing the crown of the head towards the front of your mat for a breath in. Folding forward, breath out. 1 more time, arms to the sky again, breathe in. Folding forward, breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Stepping back into high plank as you exhale. So finding your high plank here. Engage through the core. Draw the heels towards the back of your mat. And start to draw the heart forward. Take a breath in here. Dropping the knees as you breathe out. Gently lower all the way down to the mat, tucking the elbows into the ribcage. Untuck the toes. Draw the shoulder blades together. And gently lift the chest for a baby cobra. Inhale. Exhale back down to the earth. We'll do that 1 more time. Elbows together, shoulder blades together, breath in. Child's pose as you breathe out. Downward facing dog. Let's take an inhale here. And an exhale. And then lifting the heels as you breathe in. Bending deep into the knees as you breathe out. Stepping to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Folding forward, exhale. Arms to the sky. Breathing in. Folding forward, breathing out. Halfway lift again, nice long spine. High plank, exhale. Finding your high plank here for an inhale. And dropping the knees if you choose as you exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. Baby cobra, breath in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Take a breath here. And on your next breath in, lifting through the heels, bending deep into the knees as you breathe out, stepping or hopping this time to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Arms to the sky. Into the earth, breathe out. Halfway lift, long spine. High plank, exhale. And take an inhale here. And then yogi's choice as you exhale, dropping the knees to baby cobra. Or if you're ready and your spine is warm, drawing the heart forward, lowering halfway, coming into upward facing dog. Still drawing the shoulder blades to get on the back. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Let's take 3 breaths here. So remembering your downward facing dog is a resting pose. So any movement that you need, feel free to take it. Or if you just like to drop into child's pose and take a few breaths, that's there for you as well. We'll take one more inhale. And exhale. On your next breath in, I'm going to sweep the right leg to the sky, finding 3-legged dog. So keeping the foundations in the hands. So really spreading the fingers wide still, fingertips clawing into the mat, extending through the lifted leg. So the toes drawing back towards the knee, so the leg's nice and engaged. I'm going to take another inhale. And exhale. And then drawing the heel towards the buttocks. Going to peel the hip open, coming into scorpion dog. And we'll take 2 breaths here. And just noticing if you've lifted through the right shoulder as you've come into scorpion dog. And draw the right armpit back down to the mat. We'll take one more inhale, lift the knee a little bit higher. I'm going to come through into warrior 1 as you exhale. So drawing the right foot inside of the right hand, dropping onto the back heel. Really finding your foundations here, so engaging through the core. And then as you inhale, rise all the way up to warrior 1. Use your breath. We've got 3 more breaths here. One more inhale. And exhale. Take another breath in to reach. Downward facing dog. And take 2 breaths. We'll take one more inhale into the belly. Open the mouth to side away. And then on your next breath in, sweeping the left leg to the sky, finding your 3-legged dog. And so remembering those cues from the right side, strong through the fingers, creating your foundation. Keeping engaged through the core, extending through the lifted leg. You've got one more inhale. Warrior 1 as you exhale. Dropping the back heel, grounding into the front foot, finding the foundation. And then on an inhale, rise. And keep breathing for 3 more breaths. Noticing if the shoulder blades have drawn up around the ears and gently slide them down the back. And you've got 1 more inhale. And downward facing dog, exhale. And if you're choosing to take your Vinyasa flow, on your next breath in, drawing the heart forward. As you breathe out, dropping the knees or lowering down, baby cobra, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. I'm going to keep building on this warrior flow. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Warrior 1, exhale. Finding those foundations, inhale to rise. Warrior 2, as you breathe out. Finding your warrior 2 here. Finding the foundation. Grounding into the front foot, but coming into the knife edge of the back foot, lifting through the inner arch. Gently draw the shoulder blades together on the back. And sharp through the arms, imagining that there's someone pulling you towards the front of your mat and someone pulling you to the back. Go 1 more inhale. Sink a little deeper as you exhale. You're going to flip and reverse your warrior, painting the sky. So really opening through the side body for an inhale. The side angle. As you exhale, drawing the left arm up and over. Coming into an extended side angle today. So drawing the left pinky down towards the mat. Remembering not to dump completely into the right shoulder, the right elbow. Lift the ribcage up and out. You've got 1 more inhale here. I'm going to stay for the exhale. On a breath in, drawing yourself up to warrior 2, flip and reverse your warrior again. And cartwheeling the arms, downward facing dog. Let's take 2 breaths. Left leg to the sky, breath in. Warrior 1, and breathing out. Arms to the sky, inhale. Warrior 2, exhale. So adjusting the feet as you need to in your warrior 2. You may need to heel the front toe towards one side of your mat or the other, but find yourself comfortable, grounded and solid in the legs, nice and light through the upper body. And you've got another inhale. Sink a little deeper as you exhale, flip and reverse your warrior. Taking the eye gaze up to the ceiling. Extended side angle as you breathe out, so elbow to knee. Top arm up and over, opening through the heart. And you've got 1 more inhale here. So really extend, creating that beautiful line for a breath in. Stay for the breath out. Warrior 2, breathing in, engaging through the core. Reverse, inhale. And downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. And if you're choosing to take your Vinyasa flow, rolling forward into high plank. Exhaling all the way down to the earth, or halfway for upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We'll take 1 more inhale. And an exhale. I'm going to start to flow this sequence, right leg to the sky, breathing in. Warrior one. Breathing out. Rise on a breath in. Warrior two, breath out. Flip and reverse, inhaling. Side angle, exhaling. Reverse again, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Straight away, left leg to the sky, inhale. Warrior one. You know where we're going, rise, breathe in. Warrior two, breathe out. Reverse, inhale. Side angle. Exhale. Reverse. Fill up. Downward facing dog to empty. If you're taking your vinyasa flow, rolling straight forward into high plank. And coming into your chaturanga. Breathing in upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 more breaths here. So we'll take this flow 2 more times on each side, but this time really think about it like it's a dance. So we're not landing into a pose and then moving to the next. It's a beautiful flowing little sequence where we go from one pose with the breath straight to the other. So find your down dog again if you've dropped into child's pose. And take 1 more inhale into the belly. Open the mouth, clear it away. Right leg to the sky, breath in. Warrior one. Use your breath to rise. Warrior two, exhale. Keep flowing, reverse. Side angle. Reverse inhale. Downward facing dog. Left side straight away, left leg to the sky. Warrior one. Rise on a breath in. Warrior two on a breath out. Reverse. Inhale. Side angle. Exhale. Reverse again. Fill up. Downward face dog, empty. Taking the vinyasa flow. High plank, come forward. Lower, exhale. Upward facing dog, breath in. Downward facing dog, breath out. We'll take 1 more flow. Right leg to the sky, breath in. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse. Don't forget your breath. Side angle. Reverse. Downward facing dog. Keep flowing. Left side. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse. Side angle. Reverse, breath in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Straight forward into vinyasa. To the earth. Big breath in, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, breath out. Let's take 10 breaths here. And consciously slowing down your breath by lengthening your inhale, lengthening your exhales. And feel free to drop into child's pose for these last 5 breaths. And draw the hips back to the heels. Draw the arms towards the front of the mat. And the forehead can come down to the mat or into the hands. Or maybe a block if you have that handy. So drawing your awareness back to your breathing for these last 2 breaths. I'm going to start to cool down the body now. Lengthening through all those muscles that we've worked. And take 1 more inhale. Open the mouth side away. And taking the palms to the mat. We'll tuck the toes, lift the hips for downward facing dog. So really take your time coming into your down dog. And then when you're ready, sweeping the right leg to the sky. I'm going to come into half pigeon. So drawing the right leg through, taking the right knee behind the right wrist, dropping onto the shin here. Taking your block underneath your hip if it needs a little bit more support, just so we're neutralizing through the pelvis so the pelvis is nice and stable. If you're having knee pains, make sure you're flexing through the toes of the right foot, or I can show you a modification which I'll do in just a moment. If you're in half pigeon, just come up onto the toes for a second, lift the back knee, so we're really engaging and extending through the back leg, and then gently lower that down. On a breath in, draw through the heart. And then as you exhale, draw the chest forward down onto the mat. The forehead can come to a block, your hands or the mat, and close down the eyes. If you'd like a modification for this pose, it's going to come to lay on the back. Take the soles of the mat to the floor, and then lift the right ankle and cross it over the left thigh. From here, we're just threading one hand between the thigh, one around the outside of the left thigh, and as you breathe in, gently drawing the left knee in towards the chest. And if you're using the modification, just make sure you're still drawing the tailbone down towards the earth, so we're not lifting up into the tailbone. And as you breathe in, draw the knee a little closer, and then hold for the exhale. We'll take 5 more breaths here. And so if you're in half pigeon, doing your best to completely soften through your shoulders for these last 3 breaths. And take 1 more inhale. And exhale. And then if you're in half pigeon, gently start to walk the hands back to the chest, drawing yourself back up. If you're in the modification like me, we'll take both feet to the mat and just gently roll our way up into a seat. From half pigeon, come onto the right hip. We'll all take our left leg long in front of us for a gentle forward fold. So taking the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, flex the toes of the left foot towards the face, sit up nice and tall through the spine, and just make sure you've squared your pelvis over your extended leg. So we're going to take an inhale, sweep the arms to the sky, and as we exhale, start to draw the heart towards the toes. So our fold's coming from our hips here, not from the upper back. So really think about lengthening through the front of the body. You can close down the eyes if you want. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Allow the hips to open, the lower back to open. If you're finding this is really uncomfortable on your hamstrings, feel free to bend into that knee. And take 1 more inhale. And stay for the exhale. And then gently start to walk the hands back and towards the hips. So we're going to come into a seated kingfisher pose by taking the left leg over the top of the right. And just checking in here that both of your sit bones are grounded into the mat. And if you're finding that you're lifting through one of your sit bones, extend that bottom leg long, that right leg long. From here, taking the right hand behind you, we'll sweep the left arm to the sky in a breath in, getting nice and long through the spine. And we're gently just going to cross across the body, coming into a gentle spinal twist. The eye gaze can go where the chest is pointing, or if you have the space in your neck, feel free to gently take the eye gaze over the back shoulder. And keep using your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more breath. As you release, starting with your eye gaze, take your eye gaze forward and then gently untwist through the spine. We're going to unwind and make our way back into our final downward facing dog. Let's take a couple of breaths here. You might feel you need some movement, that one side of your body is feeling a little bit more released than the other. Feel free to take that. And then when you're ready, sweeping the left leg through the sky. Coming into our half pigeon on the other side. Left knee behind left wrist. Coming into that modification if you need to. Remembering that one side of your body is completely different from the other. So you may need to modify on this side when you didn't on the other. If you're in your half pigeon, tucking the toes, just lifting through that back leg, gently laying it down, lifting through the heart, and then gently folding forward. Remember to keep safe by tucking the toes, taking the block underneath your hip. Really tune into your body here. We'll take 10 breaths. And with every breath, soften a little bit more. Maybe do a little body scan, noticing if you're holding tension in your jaw or your shoulders, which is really common in this pose. And you'll take one more inhale. And exhale. And then gently walking the hands back up. We're coming to roll onto the left thigh or making your way back up from your modification. Extending the right leg long, taking the sole of the foot into the inside of the thigh again. Remembering to square that pelvis and ground the sit bones. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, coming into our forward fold. So once again, focusing on drawing the heart forward so we're not collapsing into the upper back. Bending into the knees. If you feel tightness through your hamstrings, close down the eyes for 5 breaths. And you've got 2 more breaths to completely soften here. And 1 more inhale. And exhale. And then on your next breath in, walking the hands back towards the hips, crossing the right leg over the left this time. Taking that modification, if you need to, making sure both the sit bones are grounding into the mat. Left arm comes behind, right arm inhales to the sky. And then as you exhale, we're just gently twisting, making sure the spine is nice and tall. So breath in, lengthen, breath out, twist. The eye gaze could come over the back shoulder if that's there for you. We've got 1 more inhale. Releasing the eye gaze first as you exhale. We'll take both legs long for 1 final forward fold. Come into Paschimottanasana. So flexing the toes towards the face, engaging through the legs. Ground the sit bones just as before. Inhale, arms to the sky. And as you exhale, keeping the spine nice as long, we'll draw the heart forward. So it's almost like we're in a seated halfway lift. So as we breathe in, lengthen. Hold for the exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hold. Take one more of these breaths in. And different this time as you breathe out, softening completely, rounding through the spine, relaxing through the head and the neck. And just allowing gravity to do all the work here. We'll take 3 breaths. And take one more inhale. And exhale. And then walking your way back up. We'll make our way onto our backs. But we're going to do it by using our core and not just flopping onto our backs. So the soles of the feet can come to the mat, or they can stay long. Just see what works in your body. Take the arms forward. Engage through the core by drawing the top of the hips to the base of the rib cage. So you're getting a gentle rounding into the back. And then inhale. Exhale, gently start to lower all the way down to the mat. Nice and slowly. From here, we'll take any final movements that your body's calling for before we make our way into Shavasana. So maybe you want to take a little bit of a hug, drawing the knees into the chest. Maybe there's a happy baby in you today, taking the feet to the ceiling, the hands around the outside of the feet, or maybe the toes, and just starting to draw the hips down towards the mat. Or maybe you're keen for an extra long Shavasana. Wherever you are, when you're ready, take both legs long, wide on the mat. Take your hands as wide from your body as you need. Close down the eyes. Have a little wiggle and a fidget. Take a few breaths. Find stillness. And enjoy your Shavasana. And gently start to get a little bit of movement in your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers, your toes. You might like to take your knees into the chest for a little hug. And a little rock and roll side to side. Massage into the spine. Maybe a full body stretch will work for you, taking the arms over the head. And when you're ready, gently rolling onto the right side of the body. And take a breath. And then carefully make your way up to your seated position. And finding a comfortable seat here. We'll just close the practice with 3 breaths. So taking your hands to heart center or to your thighs. Close down the eyes. We'll take a deep inhale. Open the mouth, clear it away. Breathing in. Breathing out. And one final inhale. And exhale. And then we'll gently take our thumbs to our third eye, where we bow and say Namaste. I hope you enjoyed your practice today.